Are clubs buying the league? With the emergence of state-funded clubs such as Manchester City, PSG, Real Madrid, Chelsea and Newcastle United, the question of if clubs are buying the league has emerged. This question has come up in a lot of fans' debates or discussions. Our channel will use data to answer the question. Your league position is normally defined by your wage bill. You either finish 2 places above or 2 places below. When a team is overperforming, they are either 4 or 5 places above their wage bill position, such as Leicester City when they won the Premier League in 2015 to 2016 season. In that season they had a wage bill of a mid-table club. They overperformed because they had an outstanding coach and an impeccable recruitment team that got top-class talent on the cheap, and players had very cheap wages. But Leicester City win was 1 in a billion. The top talent will go wherever they get the best wages. We will analyze 2022 to 2023 wage bill as a case study to answer the question. The Premier League season of 2022 to 2023 is completed, which means we know their league position and we also know their wage bill from the 2022 to 2023 season. From the wage bill, we can identify that Brentford and Brighton are at the bottom while the 2 Manchester clubs are at the top. The other top 6 clubs follow in descending order. Crystal Palace and West Ham United are nestled in the middle of the table. They have both consistently finished middle table in the league for most of the 10 years they have been in the Premier League since their promotions. Which means their wage bill have been consistent. Newcastle United and Aston Villa are 9 and 7 respectively on wage bill, but their wage bill was increased for 2023 to 2024 season because of Champions League and Europa Conference League participation money, and with the money increased they went to get better players that have higher salary demands. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe and hit that like button. We know the wage bill position of the various clubs. We will now use the Premier League table to identify where each club finished and if there are any correlation among the positions. When viewing both images, the position of Brentford Football Club will first capture your attention if you're identifying dissimilarity, followed by Brighton, Newcastle and Chelsea. What do these clubs have in common? Pause the video and answer the question in the comments. They follow a business method or model called Moneyball. Moneyball is using statistical data for recruitment of players and managerial staff. The data-driven technique was made famous by the former general manager of Major League Baseball side Oakland Athletics, Billy Beane, and has made its way into football, revolutionizing the transfer market. More and more clubs are using data to unearth undervalued gems and bargains on the market. One of the most common stats recruitment departments look at is expected goals, XG, which measures the probability of a scoring opportunity that may result in a goal, but there are thousands of different types of data that can be collected within a match. Brentford Club are one of Moneyball's biggest success stories, particularly with the signings of Neal Maupay and Ollie Watkins in 2017, and the arrival of Saïd Benrahma in 2018. All 3 were scoring under their XG stat, meaning they were undervalued on the market, which allowed the Bees to pick them up for a combined £6.5 million. The trio improved their output dramatically, and by 2020 they had all been sold for a collective £77 million. From the 4 clubs mentioned, which is the odd one out? It is Chelsea. The other 3 clubs had a very successful season, outperforming their wage bill position. Chelsea had been recently taken over by Clearlake Capital, who is represented by Todd Boehly. They decided to use the Moneyball method to drive their player and staff recruitment, but unlike the other 3 teams, Chelsea choose to remove all their unwanted and experienced players all at once, leaving unexperienced young players to be the core of the team. Any experienced coach would have told you that young players can't consistently produce high-level performances throughout the season. When Todd took over, he removed all previous staff except the head coach, and he started to play multiple roles at the club, such as head of player recruitment and sporting director. Which is peculiar because he does not have any footballing knowledge. At the start of the season in question, he bought a lot of random players, and the coach at the time, Thomas Tuchel, could not get them to function at a top level consistently. Therefore he was removed and another coach got the job. As we had already explained Moneyball, you would identify that Chelsea wasn't carrying out the method properly. The Moneyball idealism would need Todd to get the best staff, which he wasn't doing at the time. And also with the Moneyball method, you need patience and organization, which Chelsea lacked. From the information we have presented in the video using the domestic league table and the 20 Premier League clubs' wage bill, we can draw an admissible conclusion that the statement that said the big clubs are buying the league is false, while big clubs will most likely have the best players and the best facilities. It doesn't necessarily equate a domestic league title. For a perfect example, look at Manchester United. They have been paying the highest wages since 2014, but the closest they came to winning the Premier League is a second-place finish 14 points behind first place, which was Manchester City. Manchester United plays at a dilapidated stadium in Trafford. Their recruitment of players and staff since 2013 has been atrocious. They lack organization in their planning. The most successful team since United last won the Premier League is Manchester City. They identify Pep as the perfect manager to manage Manchester City from 2012, and they started getting players and staff that Pep trusted. Pep arrived in 2016, which showed that Manchester City were planning and organizing so that Pep would agree to join them, and they created a clear plan for when he arrived. If you are enjoying the content, please subscribe and like the video.